Everybody, to another episode of Shop Dog Fabrication. So today what we're going to do is we're going to be working on the Dodge Dart. It's a 1970 Dodge Dart that I put together. I got it finished in September of 2019. Basically did drag week with it. Finished the week. I have a whole nother video I'll do on that. Everything that went right, everything went wrong, and some of the stuff we're making changes over the winter to make it better for next year. So one of the changes we're going to do is make a change to the gauges. We'll kind of jump into the car here and I'll show you what I'm doing for that. So what we're basically going to do is right now I'm running a 3-gauge cluster. And you can see the basics there are water, oil, and amp meter, basically my charging system. So two of the things that I did not get a chance to add in last year, one is a transmission temperature gauge here. So I'm going to add that to the cluster assembly. And after drag week, one of the things I picked up was a wideband O2 gauge. So I can see what's going on with my tune. So basically what I'm going to do is I've already got the O2 weld bung put into the header. That was done before I started the channel. And so what I need to do is add these two more gauges. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull this one out. I had thought about putting them, side by side like this, making this longer. But after messing around, I think what I'm going to do is mount them both below this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out and I'm going to show you how to make a gauge cluster, something that'll hold these 5 gauges. So with that, I'm going to jump in the car here in just a minute and peel this sucker out. And then, like I said, I'll show you how I make my template. So I took the gauge plate here out of the car. You can see again, this was the 3-holer, and this hole here was actually for my line lock, so I could tell if it was on or off my switch. So basically what I like to do is I use a piece of cardboard. In this case, you can see basically a cereal box. I like using this because it is heavier than paper. It works really well. You can see this will be for my flange. I'll just kind of tilt it up, and then I'm going to go ahead and line up the flange there with the corner, and I got just a pencil here. So now what I'll do is I'll take a pair of scissors, we'll kind of cut this out, and then I'm going to kind of set it under the dash. We'll see what it looks like. To kind of set it on here and trace it out real quick. So now you can see basically what I need to cut out. Just a neat little trick. This is an old hole punch that's been around forever, and it works really good for basically doing hole punches as long as you can get to it. Where you want to do like a mounting hole for your bracket. Well, I thought this would happen. Basically, you can see I've got this large area that I still need to cut out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just grab my jigsaw with the metal cutting blade and then finish roughing this part of it out. And then we'll go ahead and do the rest of the finished stuff up from there. So anyway, hang tight. Let me go ahead and grab my jigsaw. And this is obviously something, if you don't have a bandsaw, you can use a simple jigsaw with like a metal cutting blade. And we'll clamp the workpiece on here so it's a little more rigid. And then we'll rough it out and you can see how that looks when you do it. Alright everybody, so now what I'm doing is marking center. So these are basically 2.5-inch circles, so I need to go 1 1/4 and just kind of go into a couple spots to make sure I get the right spot for all of them. Oh hey guys, welcome back. So I actually started drilling and then I realized that the battery had kind of gone dead on the camera, so I already have one hole drilled out, as you can see here, and I started working on the next hole. So let me go ahead and finish now these holes real quick, and I'll just kind of do high speed so you don't have to watch the boring part. A simple step bit, you can get these off Amazon. You can also get the hole saw kits here off Amazon as well. This one happens to be a Milwaukee brand. So I can put links into you know what I'm using as far as the step bits as well, just to drill these couple quick holes, as well as, you know, the hole saws. Just kind of clean this up a little bit. But the one thing is I did a little test foot here a minute ago, and you notice the 2.5 inch just isn't quite big enough. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use one of these. These are real inexpensive. You can get these setups for like I think it's $8 at Harbor Freight. You know, it's got a couple wheels, or you can get them also on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up on the drill press, and then basically take it, just open these holes up just a little bit. You can see there's, you know, some flash and stuff in there from the hole saw. So I'm just going to open these up just ever so much, and then basically these should slip right in. So let me go ahead and get set up on the drill press, and I'll show you how this works real quick. I've got it clamped on there. So now what I'm going to do is take and just kind of ever so gently gauge fit, and looks like I need to go just a little bit more, but she's really close, so you get the idea. So let me go ahead and I'll clean all these up real quick, and then basically all we have left to do is break this over, clean it up a little bit, and then I'll talk to you about what I'm going to do to it next. See, you know, my gauges basically now just drop right in. The light, you know, on the left side of the dash, so basically I want to break it over this way, and so what I'm going to do is draw my line. So we're going to go over to my press, and I've got something made up that we can basically put along that line, press it, and it'll bend that flange right over for me, and then basically we're done. Now the next thing though we really should do before we start touching with our bare hands is, for those of you who don't know, this is a deburring tool. Basically it takes off any flash. You know, I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but right in through here you can see the sharp edges of the flash. There's some more on this hole. There's a little bit here. So basically I just want to take this tool, just kind of run it around, and you'll see small little pieces of aluminum come out. And again, this is something that you can get right off of Amazon. So I'll put a link in, and it comes, I think, with like 10 extra of these. So again, I'll put a link in for this tool as well in the description. So this is my Harbor Freight 20-ton press. Basically what I did is I made this up. You can see it's just basically some simple angle iron, a little bit of square tubing. Basically what I can do is set that in here like so. It drops right on here so it's secure. And then I've got this. Basically this will fit up under here. You can see it's angle iron as well. You know, I reinforced it with a couple pieces. And what's nice about this is I can bend up to 3/16 inch plate. You know, with this, you know, and basically you'll take it to a 90 degree. So doing this little gauge cluster is pretty easy to do. So again, you know, simple. You can make this and, you know, more or less have something that you can press. And like I said, it'll do up to 3/16 plate pretty easy. You know, I've made some other brackets and things with this, you know, and it worked out really well. So with that, let me go ahead and crank this along. So basically now what I'm going to do is line this up. Alright. And we'll just slowly press it. There we go. So I've got my 90-degree bend in here. You can see it does a nice job. The metal really is not broken or distorted at all. You can see right here, you know, basically the line, I got it lined up real nice. It bent exactly where I wanted it. So here now is my 5-gauge cluster. So, you know, I could put all the gauges in this right now. I could mount this in the car and be done with it. But what I'm going to do, and I could spray paint it if I want to make it black like the other one. But what I'm actually going to do is powder coat it. I have some powder coat equipment. I have yet to use it. So I have been wanting to use it on some stuff, and here's a perfect opportunity to do that. So what I'm going to do is powder coat this, and that'll be in a future video. But for now, you guys got the idea of what we're trying to do to make this. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I was able to help you out. And you know, if you like the videos, as they say, please like and subscribe, hit the little bell. You know, for future videos, I've got a bunch of stuff coming out that I'm going to be doing. So again, thank you, and hope you guys go out the shop and make something.